Welcome to Dad's DeFi Space. I'm Kevin, and I'm so grateful you took a moment out of your day to spend it with me, your guide to all things crypto and DeFi. Please like and subscribe, ping that notification bell, and share it with those who are interested in crypto and DeFi space. Please help support the channel by checking out our links below and connect with us on X, CryptoZone 1013, Telegram, Dad DeFi 1013, and check out our webpage, dadsdefispace.org, and all of our affiliate links below to help support. As you know, the market has been range bound. There's chaos in the air. What is going on? And Bitcoin was at $107,000. Actually, I think it hit 108 something. It amazes me that Bitcoin was able to show this much resilience when we have all this conflict in the Middle East. Trump leaves the G7 conference. They're rushing back to Washington, D.C. We heard that it sounded like Iran was going to have a peace deal, but was it for real? It doesn't seem like it. Then, when I wake up this morning, Bitcoin has dumped all the way down to 103. I've taken a long out on the market now. It's crazy. So today, we're going to start looking at what has happened to Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies with all of this back and forth conflict in the Middle East. I want to, 2 days late, of course, wish happy Father's Day to all the amazing dads out there, the crypto dads, the DeFi enthusiasts, the money. We're going to be celebrating the most important role in life, which is being a father. But we're also going to dive into some of the latest Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and Aero drone news today. Whenever there is uncertainty or fear within the geopolitical sphere, like what happened yesterday when Trump left the G7 summit, markets usually react very negatively to the downside. But even with war and conflicts, asset prices will increase over the long term. So yes, there may be bearish sentiment in the short term, but in the long term, Bitcoin is still going to increase in price, just like your house is still going to increase in price. Now, analysts like Andre, who is the head of research at the Bitwise EPT platform, believes that Bitcoin price is stabilizing. And he says that they're arguing Bitcoin's price can suffer in the days following an outbreak of a conflict, but the volatility in BTC's price is overall on a downtrend and obviously is still seen as a risky asset. It's very likely to be sold very, very quickly when a war breaks out, because remember, Bitcoin is and the cryptocurrency markets are probably some of the most volatile assets in the investment space. And what's crazy is Bitcoin tends to work as a hedge during war after the initial reaction. That tells me time to buy the dip, Kevin. And I bought a little bit of the dip, mostly just Ethereum at this point. I'm starting a dollar cost average into Tau. I'm also going to probably sell out of some positions. We've been looking at Say and a few other protocols, but I'm not going to sell them now when the market took such a dump today. But if you take a look at this chart will show you geopolitical conflicts and then the performance of Bitcoin 1, 5, 10, 20, 50 days, right? So it takes less than 50 days for Bitcoin, when a war has happened, to end up back at break even 100%, right? And if you go back, the embassy bombing, Israel and Iran, that was last year. We lost around 5%, 2%, 9%, and then back to 10% by 50 days. So yes, the first 20 days we were in a downtrend. But look at this, the Israel-Gaza war, not at all. Barely a dump, and then we just skyrocketed after that. Russian invasion, Ukraine, same thing. We skyrocketed after that. It was like people got scared of the banks, put their money into Bitcoin. That's crazy to think about. And then you can go down here, the Minar Civil War, nothing. This little bitty war here from 2020, nothing, nothing. This one a little bit when Russia annexed Crimea. I remember when that happened. Now, this is not a geopolitical channel. I just want to make you aware wars always happen. Now, wars are bad. I know there's people out there suffering. I am a pacifist. I don't want anyone to suffer and die for politics or for religion. But we're not here to talk about politics and religion. We are here to talk about crypto and DeFi investing. So I just want you all out there who are worried about the markets. You don't need to worry as much as you think. If there's heavy dips, dollar cost average into your high conviction plays. Of course, these are just the way I'm playing things. None of this is financial advice. If you read the disclaimer at the beginning of the video, it tells you that. Cryptocurrencies are very volatile and you can lose all your money. First and foremost, Pump.Fund, their X account was suspended. And it was suspended due to court orders. Now, everyone thought, like, the rug pull of Pump.Fund is over. This is the Solana meme coin casino, and love them or hate them, it brought volume, which was great for us liquidity providers. I didn't trade many tokens on Pump.Fund, maybe a few to play with. It is straight up gambling, and it is the cards are stacked against you, so you better be willing to get into the trenches and know what you are doing. Really, why I was suspended, they believe, has to do with violations of Twitter's API policies. And I just wanted to Pump.Fund got in trouble by Elon Musk. Again, happy Father's Day to all the real dads out there. Cheers to you. The world needs good, strong dads to teach them right in all aspects, right? You are looking at Bitcoin, right? I've marked in the chart what I'm paying attention to, and that is this hot area right here that is sitting right at about 102.4, 102.5. That right now is my line in the sand. If you look, we are still within that range right here. So I feel comfortable. If I was in a Bitcoin USDC pair, I would probably do my liquidity between 102.5, 1012, in my humble opinion. Now, taking a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin had been rebounding up until today's dump, but it's facing key resistance levels. That resistance obviously is up here at 112, the all-time high. And that resistance remains critical. Once we get past this 1012, or really I just want us to get above here around 107, 108 and get support, I will feel much more comfortable. Now, the range that I'm looking at right now is 102.5 to 106.5 marked on the chart between the red line and the green line. So what has been going on with Bitcoin over this last little bit? As we were talking earlier, Trump left the G7 conference yesterday, and there was word that Iran was asking for a peace agreement, but Trump leaving, going back to the Situation Room, did not sound that way anymore. After this, that's when the dump began. All I'm saying is reacting very positively to all these shifting headlines. Now, the dollar is down around 98.8. SPX is slightly down today. Gold is about the same. Oil is heavy up, and the VIX is sitting at about 13%, the volatility index. What does this mean for us? I mean, yes, Bitcoin could take a dump. I mean, you can see my levels right here on my chart. We're looking at, let's see, 96.2, 90.2, right at 100,000. Obviously a psychological level, but I'm paying a lot more attention to 102.5, and then obviously 112. Now, if we get below, let's see, $94,000, we may revisit even lower. It's hard to say. Now, Bitcoin dominance has been, as we've talked about, an absolute tear, an absolute uptrend over the last few days. Craziness. We are back out above our trend zone. So we do dump eventually, but we haven't yet. We could get all the way up to the top of the L line. That's just under 66%. Never know, right? And this Bitcoin dominance is probably one of your most important charts to keep an eye on as far as knowing when to rotate more into altcoins. And we'll talk about that in a minute when we start looking at market cycle top indicators. What's really cool though is being this high up on the on BT dominance, we are due for a possible correction, hopefully. Now, if we zoom out, what would Bitcoin dominance look during altcoin season? It is going to look kind of like this. All right. So if you take a look at the Ethereum chart, you can see that we are right into our support resistance of 2,500. That's this blue line on the chart. A lot of these, we could drop as low as 2,100. My next line in the sand is 1,500. I hope we don't go lower than this. Then I would be starting to get a little worried. But as long as we're in this 2,000 range, I'm going to do some accumulating around if we get down to 2,100 again, and anything below that's like gravy for me. Again, not financial advice, just how I'm seeing this, but it gives me ideas of how I want to set liquidity positions, et cetera, et cetera. Now, one of the most important charts that you need to keep an eye on, just to make sure, hey, are we getting close to altcoin season? And I talk about this almost every stream because that's how important I believe it to be, is we look at the Ethereum Bitcoin chart, right? So Ethereum versus Bitcoin. If you look at the Ethereum Bitcoin chart, it is looking nasty and has really for a few years, right? Ethereum hit this low point of 101.6 or something. It hasn't hit since, September 2019, which is absolutely crazy. If you take a look at recent price action on Ethereum, though, we are back up into the bull market support band right here, trying to regain support. It's crazy. And by looking at that, what you really need to know is when the Ethereum Bitcoin chart starts doing this number, that is some serious gains in the market. I would love to take a look at some of the crazy market events that have been going on. So Trump Media has filed to launch a Truth Social Bitcoin and Ethereum ETF. We have spoken about this before. President Trump wants to launch a joint Bitcoin Ethereum ETF following a solo ETF filing. They're working with Yorkville, American Digital, and Crypto.com. And they recently raised $2.4 billion to establish a Bitcoin treasury. That is bullish, at least for accumulation. I know it doesn't show in the price charts, but it will begin to happen. Don't get left behind. Next, I want to get into more of a discussion about stable coins. So you know that we're bullish not just on stable coins, but stablecoin change. I plan on trying to release a little bit more content in the near future on ways you can earn yield with your stables. Please check out our previous videos on stablecoin chains, stablecoin yields. I'll try to leave those in the description here in a little bit. Walmart and Amazon are planning on launching stablecoins once the Genius Act passes. Amazon, Walmart have been talking about this for years, but we have not had a supportive administration. Stablecoins are the rails of crypto. I know people don't like talking about them, but Bitcoin would not achieve the market cap it has without stablecoins. And that brings us to our second piece of news. Justin Sun's TRON blockchain, which is super huge over in Asia, is planning to go public, right? TRON reportedly plans to go public through a reverse merger with SRM Entertainment. This is actually Eric Trump, one of the president's sons, is supposed to have a role with this new firm. Now, go figure. Now, these developments are in stark contrast with TRON's history with this the former presidential administration. There were cases against him by Gary Gensler and the SEC. Remember, this guy that a lot of people don't like, Justin Sun, he had a dinner with Trump Eric's going to be part of this company, right? But that doesn't mean that maybe it's just something to look into. I don't know much about TRON, but I may start looking into it just for this reason. May have some hype behind it. Now, we've been upset with Coinbase because they throw our data around like, I don't know, beads at Mardi Gras. Coinbase is actually now seeking presidential approval for tokenized equities. You'll be able to trade stocks, crypto, derivatives, all in the same place. Now, you can already do this on Kraken. Right? Yeah, on Kraken. So it's not that big of news. But if it's approved, Coinbase will start competing against other stock trading platforms, which I think is crazy. If I can buy Tesla or Palantir with Coinbase. And I do have some Tesla and Palantir, by the way. Palantir has been my best investment, pretty much. Over 1,000% gains on that one. And I've had a couple memes like that. That has been my best stock investment by far. And it definitely didn't always look that way. So very much they are competing with Kraken, who's already started tokenized stocks and treasuries on their platform. Boom. So now I would like to talk a little bit about some altcoin news, specifically Aero token. Now, if we break down Coinbase's latest DEX move, Pilgrim Finance surged close to 40 some odd percent the other day because they're integrating base chain DEX services into their app. So Aerodrome is going to be integrated into Coinbase app. So despite all this short-term volatility, Aerodrome, it's the strongest DEX on base by far, strongest total value lock. That's part of the reason we like farming on it. This could indicate long-term potential. It almost makes me think with Aerodrome, maybe I want to consider locking some Aero. I haven't yet. Maybe we'll make a video on that in the future. Aerodrome's dominant position on base, Aero could pump because of this. And this one makes me happy, right? So when this happened, Aero jumped 35%. We did take some profits, probably $300-400 worth at least of profit, and downsized our position a little bit, which is great because it dropped, 20% today. We may pick a little bit more up, but for the most part, I'll probably just farm it. But I would like to take a look at the Aerodrome chart. And you can see what happens when a coin pops on news like this, which if you all have been looking at the charts, you've probably already seen this. Less than 2.5 weeks ago, Aero was sitting at keyboard. Aero was sitting at 55 cents, and what is it now? Or it was 87 cents. It's retraced back down to 76 cents. But what's crazy, if you look at this, 14 days, 14 bars, 85%. That's absolutely crazy. This is one of the reasons we like Aero. It gives you great times to buy, great times to sell. And look at this. If you look at when did it bounce, it literally bounced right here on the bull market support band. A lot of these indicators, they don't predict the future, but they can give you ideas and probabilities. And that's what this game is about, that and risk management, of course. All right, next, we talk a little bit more about ETFs. Now, there has been a kind of bullish narrative about Solana because Solana, or a lot of people know that Solana is about to bring ETFs back, or excuse me, file for Solana ETFs, right? So CoinShares has filed for a Solana ETF, VanEck has filed for a Solana ETF, and Fidelity has filed for a Solana ETF. I'll probably be picking up some of that in my retirement account. Not completely, obviously. I keep stocks and golden notes in there too. This is just the 8th entity to want to start a Solana ETF. I find this bullish on Solana. So if you really want to get. Thank you so much for taking a moment out of your day to spend it with me. I hope you left here with a little more knowledge about crypto and DeFi. Again, find me on X, CryptoZone1013. Check out our webpage at dadsdefispace.org, and I will see you on our next video. Have a wonderful day. Peace.